Today we're fishing a creek higher in the mountains at a higher elevation. Water temperatures are about 10 degrees. Water is extremely clear right now. There's no hatch going on. Air temperature is about 25 degrees. We're going to try and work a dry fly first. The water is extremely clear, as you might be able to tell. We're going to use the most subtle approach we can first, which is going to be a dry fly. It's going to allow us to cover a lot of the water from further back, not be seen by fish. If that doesn't work, we're going to move on to a nymph next and try and get down and pull up some of those more hesitant fish that aren't willing to move up to a dry fly. On a clear creek like this, I do want to start at the bottom, work my way up with a dry fly first to be as stealthy as I can. The idea is to try and pick off as many fish as you can before the rest of them know you're there. The water is extremely clear here. I can see everything on the bottom except for fish. And they can see me. They can probably see me better than I can see them. So I do have a fair bit of backcasting space in this run. Some of the other spots I'm fishing, I have to wade up the middle of the creek and fish as I go up. This one I can kind of hit fishing upstream and at a 45-degree angle so that I can perhaps have a little bit more coverage this way. This isn't a bit of a pocket run. This is more of a big pool. I'm going to see first with the dry fly if it can rise anything. Because I've got such soft bank here, I can definitely kneel down and reduce the spook factor even more. My leader's about 16 feet long, down to 7x. I don't want to give away my presence too much. I want to get as much of a natural drift as I can. What I'm also doing is I'm using a fairly long leader so that I can get more of a slack cast going out there. I don't want my line to be tight when I'm fishing a dry fly. I want it to be slack. I want to know how slack it is so I know how much I have to pull back when I go to set the hook. But in order to deal with all the mixed currents that I might see, what I want to do is have a bit of a snake-like pattern to my leader when it hits the water so that the fly doesn't get dragged underwater or dragged across the surface too fast, which may put off a lot of the fish. So you actually want to have a little bit of slack in your line when your fly hits the water so it gives a much cleaner presentation. I don't know if anything's going to come up to a dry fly, but I'm going to try that first still. Like I say, I'm probably not going to spook anything with a dry fly. I don't have to get as close. There's nothing hatching. I don't pick up anything on the dry fly. I'll come after it. I'll come after the fish with a nymph next. More Euro nymphing with a single fly. Right now the conditions are looking beautiful, but there's just nothing coming up. I'm pretty confident that nothing's looking too much up right now. That I'm not going to get anything on the dry fly yet. Maybe later when there's more of a hatch on, if there's a hatch on. But I think I'm going to have to go down and after the fish now. So I'm going to go back to my nymph, pick up my other rod and try that. Okay, now I'm going to work a hare's ear nymph going up. I'm hoping that since I kept myself back in a low profile and worked the water gently with a dry fly, that the fish are still really relatively unaware that I'm here. Oh, there we go. Not a huge fish, but still a beauty. I want to try and net him without really letting any other fish know that I'm here. Ah, gorgeous. Not huge, maybe 25 centimeters, but special fish anyways in these high mountain rivers. Okay, that's one fish on the board now. Let's see what else there is. A little bit of a foam line going across the far side there. That's what I'm trying to get my fly into for the most part. Water isn't moving too fast. I'm having to drift my fly very slowly. Watching my sighter closely for any type of movement or slowdown. Slowly work up a bit more. There we go. Just saw the sighter twitch a bit there. Ooh, nice little runner. Nice fish. I got a number of rocks in the shallows where I am. I want to make sure I'm not going to be banging that fish's head on those when I bring them in. It's a little bit better fish. Not a giant by any means, but still probably 30 centimeters. Giving a really good tussle. Oh, beautiful fish. Okay, that's two on the board now fairly quickly after not finding anything on the dry fly. I do see some caddis moving around now. So I am going to keep my eyes peeled for fish moving on the top. Just a bit of bottom there. There's quite a variation of depth in this run. Probably anywhere from 5 feet deep to 6 inches deep. A lot of big boulders. Makes it tough to fish around it. It's sort of like underwater pocket water, you might say. The fish could be sitting behind every boulder, and they may not move very far for the fly. So you may get it sometimes where you have to drop that fly 2 feet down and raise it 2 feet once you come past that rock and go over the next one. So more into the very head of the run now. At the head of the run, the fish should be a little bit less spooky. The water's got a lot of disturbance on the top, which gives the fish a little bit more shelter and a little bit more confidence. They can't see me, and I can't see them. So they feel safe from predators a little bit more. So a little bit more comfortable standing up. There we go. Sitting right at the plunge. Again, I want to move out just a little bit so I'm not dragging that fish over the rocks to bring him in. I'm keeping a low profile. And it's not a giant fish. Again, 25 centimeters maybe, but a beautiful fish. I'll let him go and then we'll get right back at it. Okay, that's 3 on the board now. Let's see if I can pick up another one. I could expect a couple more up at the head of the run. Never know, but if an area is going to be a little bit more holding of more fish at this time of the year, it's going to be right at the head where there's more opportunity to find food. There's another one there. Beautiful, strong little fish.
Here we go.
Okay. So even though the dry fly was a stealthy way to go at first, it wasn't the most productive way to go. It's looking like the nymph change. I got 4 now on the nymph. There's been a huge increase in activity, which is what I expected. But there's definitely no loss ever from trying to dry fly first. It only takes a few minutes to work a run with a dry fly sometimes. There we go. So as I figured, there's definitely more fish right up at the plunge. This guy's not as big, but still nice little 8-inch fish. Gorgeous, no matter what you think of the size. I'll get him going, back out into the water, and I'll see if I can find some more. Okay, I'm holding at the head of the run now. So that's 5 fish. 3 of them are picked up almost right in the plunge. The other 2 are picked up more in the slower part of the water. The water is fairly deep, but it's not that fast moving. So I'm only using a 3mm bead here, single fly. That's enough to get me down on the 6.5x tippet. See if there's any more here. Might be a couple more because I haven't been able to work that far side yet. Okay, now I've worked a more subtle hare's ear nymph for most of the way after working the dry fly. Hello, Dipper. I'm going to try something a little bit bigger and meatier. I'm going to throw a mop through here that largely resembles a good-sized caddis larva. To see if that'll dredge up any fish that have been even more hesitant to hit the other flies. I doubt it, but you never know, so let's give it a try. Oh, sometimes that's what it takes, a different fly to pull out an extra fish. And sometimes something like a mop is just the right one to do it. Beauty. As you see, I'm trying to keep them off the rocks. Oh, you're a chunky fish. Okay, so that's the 6th fish now on this run. I would definitely say that trying with the dry fly didn't hurt, but it sure didn't spook anything, but it sure didn't get me anything. Switching over to a nymph, a subtle hare's ear nymph. Next, did a great job of pulling in 5 fish. And then switching over to a little bit larger, more meatier mop fly. It's helped pull in so far 1 extra fish. And we'll see if that's all it gets us.